-8 degrees in Tampa, Florida tonight. Yes, you heard that correctly. The city that is currently enjoying 70s and sunshine is about to experience temperatures that feel colder than parts of Alaska. Are your pipes protected right now? Because over 300,000 people across the South are still sitting in the dark from last week's ice storm, and what's coming this weekend could make that look like a warm-up act. In the next 60 seconds, I am going to tell you exactly when this Arctic blast arrives in your city and when the potential bomb cyclone could dump snow in places that haven't seen it in decades. But I need something from you first. Drop your city or town in the comments right now. I am going through every single comment tonight to give you personalized timing for tomorrow's video because this forecast is changing by the hour and you deserve to know exactly what's heading your way. All right, let us deliver on that promise. If you're in Atlanta, your coldest air arrives Friday night with lows around 18. Charlotte, you're looking at Saturday morning, possibly waking up to 12 degrees with snow already falling. Miami, and I am not joking here, Sunday morning could bring you into the low 40s with wind chills in the 30s. Richmond, Friday evening starts your plunge with Saturday morning lows near 14. And Boston, you're getting a double hit, extreme cold Friday into Saturday, then the potential for heavy snow Saturday night into Sunday with temps in the single digits. Now here's what nobody's talking about yet. We have two completely different weather emergencies happening at the exact same time, and they about to collide along the East Coast in a way that forecasters are calling exceptionally rare. The first emergency is this Arctic air mass that's sitting over Canada right now. It's not just cold. We talking about the kind of air that hasn't pushed this far south this early in the season in over 30 years for some locations. The second emergency is moisture streaming up from the Gulf of Mexico at the same time that Arctic air crashes south. When these two forces meet, probably somewhere off the Carolina coast late Saturday, we could see a bomb cyclone develop. And if you're not familiar with that term, it means the storm's pressure drops so rapidly, at least 24 millibars in 24 hours, that it essentially explodes in intensity. Let me walk you through what the models are showing right now, and I'm going to be very honest with you about where they agree and where they're still fighting with each other. The GFS model, which is the American model, has been incredibly consistent for the past 3 days, showing a major nor'easter tracking right up the coast. It's painting snowfall totals that honestly look almost too good to be true for snow lovers. We're talking 2 to 3 feet in some locations from the Carolinas through New England. The European model, which often has a better track record with coastal storms, is more conservative. It's showing the storm tracking farther offshore, which would mean less snow for inland areas, but still significant totals right along the coast. Here's what I'm now watching most closely, and this is going to determine whether you get 2 inches or 2 feet. The exact position of that Arctic high-pressure system on Friday night. Right now, it looks like it's going to be positioned perfectly over the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley, which would force any low-pressure system developing in the Gulf to track very close to the coast. If that high pressure shifts even 50 miles east or west, everything changes. Check back with me tomorrow afternoon because we're going to get a new round of model data tonight that should give us much better clarity on this. Let me take you through this timeline city by city, and I am going to cover every major metro and a lot of smaller communities because I know you are all watching from different places. Let us start in the South, where this is going to feel particularly brutal because your infrastructure just isn't built for this. Houston, your cold arrives Thursday night, but you are probably going to avoid the snow. Lows Thursday night around 32, Friday night dropping to 28. Dallas, you've got a chance, maybe 20 to 30% of seeing some light snow Friday night into Saturday morning with lows around 19 degrees. Oklahoma City, better odds for you, probably 50-50 on seeing an inch or 2 Friday night, temperatures bottoming out around 14. Little Rock, you are in an interesting spot. Friday night into Saturday morning could bring you some snow, possibly 2 to 4 inches, with lows around 21 degrees. Memphis, I am watching your forecast very closely because you are right on the northern edge of where this Gulf moisture could try to wrap around. Saturday morning looks like your best chance for snow accumulation, maybe 3 to 6 inches possible, temperatures in the mid-20s. Nashville, similar story for you. Saturday morning through afternoon, potential for 4 to 8 inches, and here's where it gets concerning. If the rates get heavy enough during the day Saturday while temps are in the upper 20s, we could see some real impacts on I-40 and I-65. Now let S talk about Florida, and I know some of you are already skeptical. Tampa, I am not forecasting accumulating snow for you, but Saturday afternoon, if everything lines up perfectly, you could see some flakes mixing in with rain. More importantly, Saturday night your low drops to 38 with wind chills in the low 30s. Orlando, nearly identical situation, possible flakes. Saturday, hard freeze Saturday night and Sunday night with lows around 34. Jacksonville, you've actually got better snow chances than anywhere else in Florida. Saturday morning could bring some wet snow, probably not sticking, but temperatures Saturday night fall to 31. Tallahassee, you're looking at 2 to 4 inches possible Saturday morning through midday, lows Saturday night around 28. And Pensacola, you're probably staying too warm for snow, but Saturday night you are dropping to 35, which is still a hard freeze for your area. Let me shift up to the Carolinas because this is where the forecast gets really intense, and I need you to take this seriously if you live here. Charleston, current model consensus shows snow beginning Saturday morning around 8 or 9 a.m. Could be heavy at times Saturday afternoon with a potential for 6 to 12 inches by Saturday night. Temperatures Saturday only reaching the upper 20s. Columbia, you are looking at snow starting a bit earlier, maybe 6 or 7 a.m. Saturday, with totals potentially reaching 8 to 14 inches. Here, the concerning part. Wind gusts Saturday afternoon could hit 40 to 50 miles per hour. That is blizzard conditions. Myrtle Beach, the coast usually stays warmer, but not this time. Snow beginning Saturday morning, possibly heavy by afternoon with totals of 10 to 16 inches possible. And this is where that bomb cyclone really comes into play. If the storm intensifies as rapidly as some models show, you could see wind gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour Saturday night. That would create whiteout conditions even with streetlights on. Charlotte, everything I just said about South Carolina applies to you, but potentially more intense. Snow likely begins around 6 a.m. Saturday, becomes heavy by late morning. Total accumulations could reach 12 to 18 inches with the heaviest snow Saturday afternoon and evening. Temperatures stay in the mid-20s all day Saturday, and winds, this is critical, winds could gust 55 to 65 miles per hour Saturday night into Sunday morning. Raleigh, Durham, nearly identical timing and amounts. The main difference is your winds might be slightly lower, probably topping out around 50 miles per hour. Greensboro, you're looking at slightly less, maybe 8 to 14 inches, but still significant impacts. I want to take a 30-second pause here because we're about 5 minutes in, and I need to remind you to drop your location in those comments. I am going to do a detailed breakdown tomorrow afternoon, probably around 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern, where I go through specific neighborhoods and timing. The more specific you are in the comments, the better I can help you prepare. Even if you think I might not see your small town, leave it anyway. I am reading every single one. Let me continue up the coast into Virginia and Maryland. Norfolk, you are in a tricky spot. If the storm tracks close enough, Saturday could bring 8 to 12 inches. If it's farther offshore, maybe only 3 to 5. Right now, I am leaning toward the higher amounts. Richmond, this could be a historic snow for you. Saturday morning through Sunday morning, potential for 14 to 20 inches. That would be in the top 5 snowstorms of all time for Richmond. Wind gusts Saturday night around 45 miles per hour. Virginia Beach, coastal location usually means less snow, but this storm is different. 8 to 14 inches possible Saturday into Saturday night. Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Northern Virginia, I am grouping you together because you are all in similar situations. Snow probably begins around 10 a.m. to noon Saturday, becomes heavy Saturday afternoon and evening. Current model averages show 12 to 20 inches possible through Sunday morning. Baltimore, nearly identical forecast. Annapolis, you were right on the bay, so there is a question about whether you stay cold enough the entire time, but right now it looks like you will. 10 to 16 inches possible. Frederick, you are a bit farther inland and higher elevation, so you could actually see some of the highest totals in the region, maybe 16 to 24 inches if the heavier bands set up over you. Delaware, you're not getting forgotten here. Wilmington, snow Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning, 12 to 18 inches likely. Dover, 8 to 14 inches. Rehoboth Beach, you'd think coastal would be warmer, but not this time. 10 to 16 inches possible with wind gusts Saturday night that could hit 60 miles per hour. Actually, scratch that, I need to correct myself. Looking at the latest data, Rehoboth and the Delaware beaches might actually see some of the highest winds anywhere on the East Coast because of how the storm is positioned. Could be looking at 70-mile-per-hour gusts, which is borderline hurricane force. Philadelphia, your snow begins around noon to 2 p.m. Saturday. Heavy at times Saturday evening and overnight. Total accumulations 14 to 22 inches possible. This would be your biggest snow in over a decade if the higher end verifies. Allentown and the Lehigh Valley, similar timing, possibly even higher amounts due to elevation, 16 to 24 inches. The Poconos, you could be looking at 30 inches or more. Harrisburg, Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning, 12 to 20 inches. Let me talk about New Jersey because the track of this storm really matters for you. If it stays 50 miles farther offshore, your totals drop significantly. If it tracks closer, you could see historic amounts. Trenton, current thinking is 12 to 20 inches Saturday afternoon through Sunday. Newark, 10 to 18 inches. Jersey Shore communities from Atlantic City to Cape May, this is where it gets interesting. You are usually warmer being right on the ocean, but this Arctic air is so strong and the storm so intense that you might actually see some of the highest totals. Current models show 14 to 24 inches possible for places like Atlantic City and Ocean City. And those wind gusts I mentioned for Delaware beaches, you are getting those too. 60 to 70 miles per hour Saturday night into Sunday morning. New York City, I know you are watching closely. This could go a few different ways for you. If the storm tracks within 100 miles of the coast, you are looking at heavy snow Saturday evening through Sunday morning with totals of 12 to 20 inches. If it tracks farther out, maybe only 6 to 12. Right now, 3 days out, I am leaning toward the heavier amounts. One thing I am very confident about is the cold. Sunday morning lows in the city will be around 8 to 12 degrees with wind chills below zero. Long Island, you in the jackpot zone potentially, the eastern end especially. Montauk, the Hamptons, Riverhead could see 18 to 28 inches Saturday night through Sunday morning. And here's that bomb cyclone effect again. Wind gusts could exceed 70 miles per hour on the eastern end of the island. That's not just blizzard conditions, that is extreme blizzard conditions. Western Long Island, probably a bit less, maybe 12 to 20 inches. Upstate New York, let's cover you quickly. Albany, snow arrives Saturday evening, continues through Sunday with 8 to 16 inches likely. Syracuse, 6 to 12 inches Saturday night through Sunday. Rochester, 4 to 10 inches. Buffalo, you might actually miss the worst of this, maybe only 2 to 6 inches, but your cold is going to be brutal. Single digits Saturday and Sunday with wind chills 20 to 30 below zero. Connecticut, you are getting hammered. Hartford, 12 to 20 inches Saturday evening through Sunday. New Haven, 14 to 22 inches. The Connecticut shoreline, places like Bridgeport, Norwalk, Stamford, 10 to 18 inches with extremely high winds. And up in Litchfield County, the Northwest Hills, you could see 20 to 30 inches. Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts, this is where some models are going absolutely crazy. Providence, current model consensus shows 16 to 24 inches Saturday night through Sunday. Cape Cod, and I need to be careful here because this could change, but some models are showing 30 to 40 inches. I don't want to oversell this, but the potential is there. Nantucket and Martha S. Vineyard, similar story, possibly 25 to 35 inches with wind gusts that could hit 80 miles per hour. That is the bomb cyclone really cranking up. Boston, this could be a top 10 snow for you all time. Snow begins Saturday evening, becomes heavy Saturday night, and continues through Sunday morning. Accumulations of 18 to 28 inches possible. Wind gusts Saturday night into Sunday morning, 50 to 60 miles per hour in the city, higher on the coast. Worcester and the interior hills of Massachusetts, you might see even more, 24 to 36 inches possible. Let me jump up to New Hampshire and Maine quickly. Portsmouth, New Hampshire, 14 to 24 inches Saturday night through Sunday. Manchester, 12 to 20 inches. Portland, Maine, this might be your biggest snow in years. Current thinking is 20 to 30 inches Saturday night through Sunday, with wind gusts that could top 70 miles per hour on the coast. Bangor, you are farther north, so the timing is a bit later. Sunday mostly, with totals around 8 to 16 inches. Vermont, I haven't forgotten you. Burlington, snow Saturday evening through Sunday, 8 to 14 inches likely. The Green Mountains could see significantly more, 16 to 24 inches in the higher elevations. Now, I need to shift gears and talk about something that's almost as concerning as the snow itself. The cold that follows. We about 15 minutes in, and I want to make sure you understand that even if the snow forecast changes, the cold forecast is locked in. This is happening regardless. Sunday morning, after this storm pulls away, we're going to see some of the coldest temperatures in years for many locations. Miami, low around 42 degrees, which I know doesn't sound terrible to those of you up north, but for Miami, that's approaching record territory. Jacksonville, low around 28. Savannah, low around 24. Charleston, low around 20. Charlotte, low around 10. Raleigh, low around 12. Richmond, low around 8. Washington, D.C., low around 6. Philadelphia, low around 4. New York City, low around 8. Boston, low around 2. Portland, Maine, around 0. But it's not just Sunday morning. This cold locks in for days. Monday morning could actually be colder in some places. Tuesday morning, not much better. We are looking at a solid 4 to 5 day period of well below normal temperatures from Florida to Maine. And for the southern states especially, this is infrastructure busting cold. Pipes are going to freeze. Power grids are going to be stressed. Remember those 300,000 people I mentioned at the beginning who still don't have power from last week's ice storm? They are going through this too. Let me talk about what's happening in the atmosphere to create this pattern, because understanding the why helps you understand why we're so confident about some parts of this forecast and less confident about others. We have what's called a negative NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation, which essentially means blocking high pressure over Greenland. When that happens, it forces the jet stream to buckle southward over North America. That brings Arctic air masses farther south than normal. At the same time, we have a very amplified pattern, meaning big waves in the jet stream. One of those waves is going to dig a trough, basically a dip in the jet stream, over the eastern U.S. this weekend. What's allowing the cold air to plunge so far south. But here's where it gets interesting for the storm itself. We are going to have upper-level energy, essentially a disturbance in the jet stream, moving out of the Rockies Thursday and Friday. That energy is going to move across the southern states Friday and reach the East Coast Friday night or Saturday morning. Meanwhile, we'll have that Arctic high pressure sitting over the Great Lakes. The combination of that upper-level energy, Gulf moisture, and the Arctic air creates a perfect setup for rapid intensification. The storm forms, the pressure drops quickly, we get the bomb cyclone. Now, where exactly that happens determines everything. If it happens 200 miles offshore, most areas see less snow but incredibly high winds. If it happens 100 miles offshore, we are looking at those jackpot snow totals I mentioned earlier. If it somehow happens right along the coast or even just inland, we could see even higher amounts in some locations, but mixing issues in others. This is what I am going to be watching most closely over the next 24 to 48 hours, the exact positioning. The European model has been trending closer to the coast over the past few runs, which is actually increasing confidence in higher snow totals. The GFS has been consistent but maybe a bit overdone on amounts. There's a third model, the Canadian model, that's been kind of in the middle. Personally, and this is just my interpretation right now, I think we were going to end up somewhere between the European and GFS. Significant snow for a wide area, but probably not the extreme amounts the GFS shows for the mid-Atlantic. Let me get to some questions I know you are asking. First, what about ice? Is this a snow event or an ice event? Right now, it looks like primarily snow for most areas. The air is going to be cold enough that we are not worried about significant icing. There might be a period Saturday morning where some spots see a mix of sleet and snow, especially in the Carolinas and Virginia, but the majority of the event should be snow. That could change if the storm tracks differently, so definitely check back tomorrow. Second question, travel impacts. When's the worst time to be on the roads? Honestly, if you can avoid traveling this weekend at all, do it. But if you must travel, Friday during the day is your best window. By Friday evening, the first impacts will be moving into the south. Saturday is a complete write-off for travel anywhere from the Carolinas through New England. Roads will be dangerous or impassable in many areas. Sunday morning, still dangerous in many areas because of the snow that fell overnight and the extreme cold making it harder for treatment to work. If you have travel plans this weekend, seriously consider changing them. Third question, I am seeing a lot. Should I stock up on supplies? Yes, especially if you were in the potential heavy snow zone. You might not lose power, but if you do, it could be for days given the combination of heavy snow and high winds. The winds are what really concern me for power outages. Trees already stressed from recent storms, add heavy wet snow and 60-mile-per-hour winds, we could see widespread outages. Have enough food, water, medications, baby supplies, pet supplies for at least 3 to 4 days. Make sure you have flashlights, batteries, a way to charge your phone. If you have a fireplace or generator, make sure you have fuel. Don T, wait until Friday to do this because stores are going to be packed. I am at about 23 minutes now, and I need to remind you one more time to drop your city in the comments. Tomorrow's video is going to be much more specific, and I am basing it partly on what I see you asking about. Don T, assume I am going to cover your area. Make sure you tell me where you are. Let me talk about what happens after this storm because I know you're wondering if this pattern continues. Early next week, Monday and Tuesday, things quiet down significantly. We might see some lake effect snow in the usual spots downwind of the Great Lakes, but the major storm system will have moved out. The cold stays, like I mentioned, but at least the active weather calms down. Wednesday and Thursday of next week, there are some hints on the long-range models of another system, possibly another snow threat for the Midwest and Ohio Valley, but we re-9 to 10 days out on that. Way too early to have any confidence. What I can tell you is, the pattern looks like it stays cold for at least the next 10 to 14 days across the eastern half of the country. No significant warm-ups in sight. Now let me give you the uncertainties I want you to understand. First, exact snow totals. 3 days out we can give you ranges, but pinpoint amounts are impossible. A 50-mile shift in the storm track changes everything. Second, exact timing. We can say Saturday for most areas, but whether the heavy snow is Saturday morning versus Saturday afternoon versus Saturday night, that S still being refined. Third, wind speeds. We know they were going to be high, but exactly how high depends on how strong the storm gets. A storm with central pressure of 980 millibars produces different winds than one at 970 millibars. These details matter, and they what tomorrow's models will help clarify. Here is what I need from you beyond just the comments. Pay attention to official warnings from the National Weather Service. Winter storm watches will probably be posted tonight or tomorrow for many areas. Those will eventually become warnings. When they do, take them seriously. This isn't hype. This is a dangerous winter storm setting up. Also, check on your neighbors, especially elderly folks or anyone who might need help preparing. This is a community thing. We get through storms like this by helping each other. Tomorrow's video I am planning for around 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll have the overnight and daytime Thursday model runs to work with, which should significantly increase our confidence on track and intensity. I'll go city by city again, but with much more specific timing and more confident snow totals. I might also do a live stream Saturday morning if the storm is unfolding, just to keep you updated in real time. Make sure you resubscribed and have notifications on so you don't miss any of this. Let me close with this. I've been doing weather forecasts for years, and storms like this, where you have extreme cold and a potentially major winter storm happening simultaneously, they don't come around often. This is a significant weather event. It's going to impact tens of millions of people, but forecasts can change. What looks like 2 feet of snow today might be 1 foot tomorrow, or it might be 3 feet. What looks like a direct hit on the coast might shift offshore. That's why you are going to check back with me tomorrow. That's why you are going to keep watching this forecast evolve. The one thing that's not changing is the cold. Prepare for that regardless. Protect your pipes, protect your pets, protect yourself. Have a plan for if you lose power. Know where your emergency supplies are. And please drop your city in the comments so I can give you the best possible information tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon with a much more detailed breakdown. Stay safe out there, and remember, we tracking this together. You are not alone in this. Let me know in the comments what specific questions you have, and I'll try to address